So, mediumship development, like what's it all about and kind of how does it work? So, as you know, the spirit world actually physically is taking up the same space that our physical world is taking up. It's just on a different frequency. Just like in your car, you can be tuned to any number of stations, and now there's HD stations. There's so many stations, and they're occupying the same space. The difference is the frequency is different, so they can all coexist. Well, the spirit world is the same way. And the way that we connect to the spirit world is through our mind. Okay? And fortunately or unfortunately, our mind is sort of hardwired to perceive our physical reality. So, the physical space, the things we can see, it's hardwired to be tuned into that station. And the way that the brain works is through wavelengths and cycles, it's called. It's like electrical cycles. And the brain typically works in the waking state where we perceive physical things at about 14 to 20 um, cycles per second. That's normal. That's like awake. When you're awake, you're at 14 to 20. And that allows us to kind of be tuned into the physical radio station, if you will, and, see you and I and everything that's around us. So, how do we get to really be more connected to the spiritual aspect that's in the same space? How do we change our dials to that? Well, that dial to be tuned into the spirit world is somewhere between 4 and 10 cycles per second. So about half of what we are normally, okay? That's why a lot of you may actually perceive some like spiritual things when you are either going into a sleep or coming out of a sleep. When we're asleep, our cycles are very low. They're somewhere around 4 to 7. They're around there. So when we're asleep, we really are tapped into the spirit world. So as we're coming out of that sleep and going into that sleep, you can see shadows out of like the corner of your eyes. You can get flashes in your mind of like little scenes, whether it appears to be like a photograph or a small movie. You can also hear, which would feel like with the outer ear, you hear other voices. You might hear your name called in the middle of the night, kind of when you're just going into sleep. So if you've experienced any of these things, that's what explains it, because you've already moved your brain cycles down to and through where you need to be. So, right, when we do mediumship, we kind of want to get there. Now, the truth of the matter is we don't have to go far. If we can get to 10, the 10 cycles per second, now we are like at 14 to 20, like I said now. So 4 to 10, if we could kind of lower that frequency and relax, we can tune in very well. Not only can we tune in to the spirit world at that point, but what happens is like we've got our conscious mind, which is our left brain, that one that's online all the time, the one that puts doubts in your mind, the one that says, don't go on that roller coaster, the one that says, don't get too close to the edge or whatever that is, right? So that's online all the time, but we kind of want to tune that out a little bit and get closer to the right brain, which is our spiritual and creative side. If you're creative in like music or writing or artwork or crafts or anything like that, or like just daydreaming up solutions for problems, you'll be using more of the right side. So your normal brain cycles will be closer to 14 and 10 normally. And that's how some people seem to have like they've got that, whatever it takes, right? So those are the people that kind of have that slower brain wave, so they're more in touch with their creative side. Is that making sense to everybody?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Does that mean if you say the creative side is on the right side,
Mhm.
does that mean a physical right side of your brain?
It is, yeah. It
Oh,
is the
okay.
physical
I
right
just
side.
wanted to clarify that. I didn't
Mhm.
understand that. Thank you.
Yep, yep. It is the physical side because it's the brain, as you may know, is split into hemispheres. You have
Mhm.
the left side, which controls the right side of your body, the right side, which controls the left side of your body. Yeah. So that would mean also that left-handed people tend to be more creative because they're already using that side of their brain a whole lot. But as mediums and intuitives and healers and people that are interested in this, we can train ourselves to be more right brained, to be more tapped in. And the way we do that is we slow down our brain waves. And as we do that and we come down from that, you could think of like 20 as um, we've got mostly left and not so much right. And as we start to move that dial in and we move those brain waves down, we have more and more and more and less of the left brain involved until we get right down to like sleep area where it's all right brain because our conscious mind, our left side of our brain, is offline. And it kind of has to do that to kind of repair and rest. Okay? So, all right, so how do we do it? How we're going to do it, we're going to focus on doing that today because the most important part, not only that we'll be able to tap in better to our spiritual side and the spiritual world by doing this, but we also can tap into our subconscious, which doesn't have those sorts of guardrails as our conscious mind, our left side of the brain has. The left side of the brain like has these rules, right? And it's going to fight you. It's going to keep you safe and things like that. So it's going to tell you no, you can't do that. No, you can't talk to spirits. No, you don't have these abilities. It's going to say things like that. But when we get down to that right brain, that spiritually connected side, it just does. It just does. You've heard of manifesting, all right? Manifesting is talking directly to that right side. That doesn't have those blocks, doesn't have those abilities that tell you you can't do that. That's not possible. It's not rational, right? It doesn't try to rationalize things. It just does. So when we practice meditation to get down into that alpha level, when we lower our brain waves down to like 14 or 10, we can speak directly not only to the spirit world but to our subconscious and we can program it to do things. A good time to do that is like when you're starting to sleep or even in a meditation and you want to feed this right side of your brain with really good thoughts like I can communicate, I do communicate with the spirit world. I am happy. I am healthy. Things like that. Whatever you want to manifest, the time when you're in that deeper state of relaxation is when you want to do that. Okay? So I just kind of wanted to give you that understanding. Like, where we need to be is not far from where we are right now. And we need to be there to be able to connect the best. Can we connect to spirit when we haven't really gone that deep and lowered our brain waves? Yes, you can. Is it going to be tougher to do it then? Yep, it will be. So we're going to try and do the best we can to get there. And we get there by practicing. So this is what we're going to do. In a moment, we're going to get into a meditation and we're going to be closing our eyes. And can you do a meditation with your eyes open? Yes, you can. Why is it easier for some to do meditation with your eyes closed? Because you're not distracted by the things that are around you. That's all. Plus, our body's natural reaction when our eyes are closed and when it's dark is to relax. And that's really what we want to do. We want to tell our body to relax, but we're going to keep our mind active. And when our mind's active and our body is relaxed, that's when we kind of shift down into those frequencies that we want to get to. So what we're going to do is in a moment we're going to close our eyes and I'm going to have you count. And it's going to be annoying if I count out loud, so I'm going to have all of us count at the same time to ourselves. And we're going to count from 100 and we're going to count all the way to 1. When we get to 1, we're going to now be deeper and we're going to be relaxed, okay? So we are now at the level where our brain waves are around 14 to 10, and we're going to tell our subconscious, we're going to start programming it. We're going to say, when I relax in this way, I relax quickly and deeply. Once we get to 1, we're going to say that, and I'll say that out loud to remind us. And then we're going to get into a little bit of visualization, because we're going to be relaxed and now we're going to start visualization. So when we do that and we practice visualization at that lower level, we're really speaking directly to our right brain, that spiritual side. Okay? So let's give this a go. And because we're at about a half an hour in and we don't have our other 2 people, I am going to lock the room just so we don't have anybody interrupting. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Yeah. All right. So, okay, I'm just going to mute you there. You're good. Everybody's good. Everybody can hear me, right? Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so close your eyes now. And we're going to start by taking 3 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, and again in, out. One more time, in, out. Okay, and as you're doing this, and when we do it today, and when you practice on your own, if you start to count and you get lost, and then you realize that you don't know where you were, just start back over at the top. So we're going to start now. We're going to be counting to ourselves. I'm going to tell you when we're going to begin, and we're going to be breathing easy and keeping track of that count all the way to 1. And when we get to 1, I'll tell you what we're going to say, and then we'll go from there, okay? So here we go. And we're going to begin now. 100, 99, and to yourself. When I relax this way, I relax deeply and quickly. And now we should be at 1. And we've lowered our brain waves closer to 10. We are more relaxed. We're more easily able to connect to spirit directly. What we're going to do is we are going to imagine ourselves at the front of a building. There's some steps in front of you. See how many there are. A lot. A few. See the steps, what they're made of. They might be old wooden steps or marble or even cement. And there's a railing on either side of the steps. See the railing in all the detail you can. Maybe that's wood, maybe it's iron, maybe it's glass. As you put your hand on this railing, I want you to feel the temperature and the texture. Is it smooth on the top? Are there angles? And start walking up the stairs towards the door. The more detail we put in here, we exercise our mind. When it's in this very receptive frequency. And have a look at the door in front of you now. Again, is it a big door, a small door, a wide door, skinny door? What's it made of? Color is it? Is there a handle, a knob, a ring? None at all. Does it open from the right or the left? Now that you see your door, open it. And step inside. Hear the sound of the door as it closes behind you. And you walk down the hallway in front of you. Is it silent? Or do you hear echoes of your footsteps? As you get closer to the door in front of you, you notice that there's a sign on the front of this door. It says meeting in progress. You know that inside this door is a table. And around this table are seats filled with your guides. Maybe the ones you know. Maybe some new faces. And at the head of this table will be your empty chair. So when you're ready, I want you to open that door. Notice if it opens inward or outward. Step inside. See how your friends stand as you enter. As you take your rightful place there at the head of that table and sit down. Notice how many chairs are there Maybe you see them. Maybe just the number came to mind. Look around. If you can't see anybody right now, focus on the chair to your left. And know that one of your guides sits there. Gently let them come into focus. Notice if they're male or female, young or old. Notice what they might be wearing. As soon as they come into focus, I want you to ask their name. And listen for the answer. And ask them what their job is, how they guide you. And again, listen for that answer. And welcome them and thank them for being with you on this journey. And I want you to take a few moments and go around the table and do the same thing with the others that have come. Wonderful. You will get to know these guides as you journey forward. Whether you are just seeking information for your own journey or you plan on helping others, know that these guides will be with you through the entirety of that journey. And anytime you need to ask them questions, then you know that they're just a thought away. And if you want to keep this practice, you can come back to this room whenever you need guidance, whether it's for yourself or somebody else. So I'd like you right now to stand up and thank your guides and walk back out of that room, down the hall, feeling lighter, feeling more confident. A little pep in your step. Knowing just how easy this was. And as we exit this building, we're going to come up just a couple more steps. And what we're going to do is we are going to come up 5 steps. And after we get to 5, we're going to say that we are fully awake and still connected. So at 5, we will say we're fully awake and still connected. So let's go there now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fully awake and still connected. You can open your eyes.